This is the exciting story of the rediscovery and exploration of the cave found on top of Mount Konocti. According to old Indian legends, the Indians, who have lived around the shores of beautiful Clear Lake at the base of Mount Konocti for over 12,500 years. This is a most sacred mountain. Legends tell of a cave at Horseshoe Bend that starts at the cliff on the shore and goes into the mountain. Indians walked into the cave and held religious ceremonies. Legend also says they buried their dead in this cave. When the water rose in the lake, they would paddle their reed boats up a short distance and caught blind fish. Another legend tells of the little people that lived inside the mountain during the cold times. Another tells that the Indians could notch sticks and throw them down a hole in the top of the mountain. They would find them floating in Horseshoe Bend. All this was long before the white man came. About 1880, a white hunting party stumbled on the cave on top of the mountain. They climbed down into the entrance and found a hole in the floor of the cave. In trying to measure the depth of the hole, they used long weighted strings up to 1,100 feet, but found no bottom. They dropped a bundle of burlap soaked in kerosene and lighted, and it disappeared straight down. Many people have visited the site in the last 90 years. Sometime between 1940 and 1970, the cave collapsed about 15 feet from the entrance, and the vertical shaft has not been seen since. In 1990, a couple of hikers rediscovered the cave, which had been lost in the heavy underbrush for several years, and reported the find. An exploration team was formed to reopen the cave and find and measure the vertical lava vent. In our investigation of the cave and the circumstances around it, we believe we will find a very large room where the molten lava drained from the inside of the mountain, and possibly a lake from where the legendary blind fish could have come. Now this is what I believe the inside of the mountain looks like, Mount Konocti, better known as the Zenith Gate. This was the upper world. This is a very sacred mountain to the Indians. Now, I believe what we're going to find once we get down in is this room here, which I think may be, very well be, the largest room in the world. I expect about 2,000 feet from this side to this side, somewhere around 2,400 to 2,600 feet deep to the bottom of the lake. This is the lake, I believe, is in there about 90 feet deep, which exits through this underground stream over into Horseshoe Bend. Now, I think there are other caverns down under here and other entrances. Now, I've had many stories over the years of these other entrances that have been found. However, we could not find them. We've spent many months searching these mountains for these entrances. This one is in the Buckingham area, Black Forest. This one, a gentleman told me that when he was young, an Indian friend of his took him up to this one. They call it the Ice Cave, supposedly a ceremonial cave to the Indians, and that it went down into this cavern down inside here, all interconnected with the main one. And of course, this is the main vent. This is the cave up here that we've been working in for 4 years. And just before we were told to get off the mountain, we did find this vent at this point. We did not get a chance to measure it. We didn't get a chance to photograph it, but we did find the vent itself. We drilled into it. Now here's another one that I call the Hummel shaft, and a fellow by the name of Hummel dropped a log with his and 2 other boys' initials on it, came down into the lake, went out through into Horseshoe Bend.